Hi, beautiful people of Nigeria. Hi, beautiful people of Jamaica. Um, I go by the name KC, K-I-S to the I and another I. I'm the host of the podcast show, The Chase. And today I'll be talking about something really, really amazing, something educated. I hope you stick by with us. Do not go anywhere. So with me today on my podcast show, this episode, I have a super beautiful lady here with me. She's simply amazing. Her smile is um, I won't I won't tell you her name. I'll let her do the introduction herself. So please take the floor.
Hi, Nigeria. Hi, Jamaica. Hello, viewers, listeners. I am Anita Love. And I said love as in Love, love. And I go by the name Lovely Love on YouTube. You can find me there. And yeah, I am all the way in Jamaica. And I'm excited to be with you today talking about mental health.
Yeah, she said it right. We're talking about mental health today. You know, mental health is something that is important to everybody in all spheres of our life, like every part of our life. Mental health is quite important to every person. So today we'll be digging deep, yeah, into what mental health is and every other thing that goes with it. But before we proceed, we need to understand what mental health is. And I think I'll be giving my own definition of mental health, and I'll let my guest here tell me what she thinks. But I go first. Mental health includes emotional and psychological and social well-being. It needs to be in a right proportion. Let me put it that way. If your mental health and your social health and your emotional health is not in the right proportion, then it means your um, mental health is not in the right track. Let me put it that way. So over to you, please, Lord. What do you think, or what do you suggest is mental health?
You said it right, King Kesey. I definitely agree with your definition. I just want us to understand that it's really our ability,
Yeah.
our ability to deal with or to manage or emotional or feelings as well as our behavior, while we try to cope with the stress of life. And so we try to seek to have a social well-being. That's what we really need to have. We need to feel as if that we can cope, we're dealing with things comfortably, satisfactorily.
Okay, that's awesome. Um, you know, there there has to be an origin. Let me put it that way. There has to be an origin from where this mental health thing comes to play, and I think it's called myth and all that. Can you give us a little light of what mental health myth and all it is?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, I just want to educate our listeners and our viewers that it's okay for us to have emotions. These things, it comes and go every day. But there are some things that we tell ourselves, and we need to understand the difference, and hence we need to know about the myth and the facts. One of the things that persons think that they do not have a mental health issue or they do not have a mental health. And the truth is, we all have mental health.
Sure,
From
sure.
time to time, at some point in time, we would have experienced some sort of something, where we would feel as if we're not so balanced. And it's okay as long as we can just get back up, dust ourselves off, and stay on track again. Also, we want to understand that some persons may think that once you have a mental health issue, you cannot cope in life, and that's not true.
No.
No, these persons, they can cope, they can work, they can function as, I would want to say, normal, as long as they keep themselves busy. These persons, results have researchers has shown that these persons can cope. They tend to have good productivity rate. Their attendance for work is normally very good, and they can cope. So it's not that they snap out of it and be violent and destructive like any other of us. Like, that's not necessarily the case. So we have persons in society who can cope well, or we would say, they're coping with mental issues. So we have some myths, and we need to understand that they can cope. And also there is hope. There
Sure.
is yeah, there is hope.
If there is any problem, I think there should always be a solution. That's true, right?
Definitely.
So it means there is hope for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. moving further, let's talk about the factors that contribute to mental health problems. Yeah, I think you just give like, let's say, two or three factors that contribute to our mental health issues.
All right, very good. One of the things that cause a lot of uh, mental health issues are or financial problems. You see, all of us may be going through the very same thing, but it's how we deal with it. We all deal with problems differently. And so when persons are experiencing financial difficulties or going through poverty, that has a possibility of, messing up our mental, space or life experiences, trauma, things not working out the way we would have planned it or expected to work, and so therefore it throws off balance, and it allows us to be unable to think and cope healthy, with what is happening. Also, most importantly, to our biological factors, we have to admit that we have family history, and it's a possibility that it can transcend down to generations.
Okay. Um, that being said, d- I think we also have issues that, let's say, um, a generational issue, like you said before.
Mhm.
I would like to ask this question: if, for instance, a grandmother had this mental issue, can it be passed down to the grandchild? I'm not talking about the direct offspring of the grandmother. I'm talking about the grandchild. Can it be passed down to the grandchild?
Very good question. No, the possibility do exist that it can pass down, but personally, I believe that for it to pass down, then the mother would have had to had some trait as well of mental illness, getting that from her mother, right? And so the mother having that then can don't pass it on to her child, right? Because the truth is, we have to understand that, especially as mothers, when we're pregnant, we are everything that we feel, in our minds, it affects what happens inside of us. And so even the baby, even the fetus that is being developed can be affected, and of course can experience mental health issues likewise.
Okay. That being said, let's move over. I think we all know, most persons actually know that there are warning signs as it concerns mental health. But I also think that some other persons don't know that there are signs that you will get to know that there's something wrong with you mentally or something. So can we get these early signs of mental health?
Definitely, there's a lot, and of course, my list will not be exhausted. But one of the things that I want us to pay attention to is the fact that if you have constant negative thoughts in your mind lingering, then that's definitely a sign. So you want to pay attention to it. As I said, negative thoughts, they float in our heads. But if this is consistent, if you realize it is happening too long, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, then definitely needs attention. Also, if it is that activities that you once love or enjoyed, friends that you used to like to hang out with, if you realize that you're finding yourself isolating yourself from those persons, then something is also going on. The truth is also, if you're having thoughts of hurting yourself or hurting other people, then this is also another sign. Sleeping too much, eating too much, these things are things that are likely to happen. Drinking too much, smoking too much, just all of these things are just possible signs, and we need to pay attention to them.
Okay, so um, you're trying to tell me now that, let's say I sleep too much and I eat too much, it has an effect on me mentally. Is that what you're saying?
It can definitely, yes.
Okay, and for those persons that smoke, for those persons that drink, you also made mention that if these persons smoke and drink too much, it means they're also suffering from a mental issue. Is that true?
I definitely believe that, because the truth is, as I said to you before, that we all find different ways to cope and to deal with life stresses.
Yeah.
And it is okay to, I'm sure it's okay to smoke.
Yeah, sure.
I've done, yeah, it is. And it's smoke to drink casual. It's okay to drink casually. But if it is that it's not going to be a habit where we become addicted and we rely on these substances to feel better, then something definitely is going on deep inside of us in our subconscious.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. Um, some other persons would say that if they keep hearing voices, let's say voices in their heads or something, it's also a sign of mental health. Do you agree with the fact that, if let's say I keep hearing voices, I'll just say and I keep hearing things. it means I am not right mentally. Is that true?
Definitely. It's mean that it's not you alone. And remember, you should, if you're hearing voices, definitely that means you have company. And you need to deal with the company. No, I'm sorry, it's true. If you're hearing voices in your head, it simply means that you're not the only person that's there. Something else is there and it needs attention. So I'm happy that you actually said that. Yeah, and I mean, I just want to jump in on this point. We have something called the battlefield of the mind. When we have a bag of thoughts, thinking, sometimes we're even holding on to some things, thinking that is the truth, when really and truly it's far from the truth. So, like I said, if we're hearing voices, it's definitely something you need to check it out.
Okay, okay. Let's move over. I think if there's something okay, let's take a house for instance, or let's take a human for instance. We always have things we do to keep ourselves in check. We always have things we do that keeps us going. We always have things we do that always let me put it this way. Like I said earlier, keeps us in check. It's called hygiene. Do we also have ways whereby we can keep our mental health in check, like mental hygiene and stuff like that?
I'm not sure if I heard the question. You
Okay,
said something about mental hygiene.
mental
Repeat it,
hygiene.
please.
Yeah. If you do you think there are things we should do that will keep our mental health in check, and it's called mental hygiene? Do you have anything to say about mental hygiene?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. The very same way we have physical health, as I mentioned, we have mental health too. And the same way we have to take care of ourselves physically, we have to take care of ourselves mentally. So mental health really speaks to those methods are those things that we actually do to preserve, that's the word, to preserve our mental health. And there are a few things that we can do to preserve our mental health. And this is something that I've realized personally, and I have to say it as my number one. We have to get connected to ourself or our higher self. We have to have a sense of identity, knowing who we are, whose we are, and get connected and just be able to live out our purpose in life. Also, we have to understand that we have to develop or nurture our relationships, whether with friends or with our family members. We also have to be able to eat and sleep well. We have to be able to take care of ourselves, based on the stresses of life. We have to take breaks, and take care of us, do some things that we do enjoy. Nothing is wrong with that. We also have to be comfortable in our own skin. These are some of the things that we can definitely do to preserve our health. And the truth is, if it is that you realize, I ask persons to be honest with yourself. So if it is that you realize that any of these things that we're talking about it's a bit off, you can get help. And it's okay to get help. Don't be worrying about what other people think or what other persons may say. Take care of you. Definitely.
So taking care of our mental health is of utmost importance as we take care
Definitely.
of ourselves also. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's definitely important. We have to be able to take care of ourselves. We have to be able to manage stress and manage it well. Strike a balance.
Let's move over to the characteristics of mental health. I know we have so many characteristics of mental health. I would like you to give us but a few of what you think are characteristics of mental health.
All right, very good. Now we have been talking about mental health in terms of, what are some of the signs of negative mental health. So I want us to understand that health is something that is positive. So when you hear about mental health, don't think about that I am crazy. There is
Yeah,
a fact that there is a disorder, and there is also a fact that you are stable. So
yeah,
we're going to talk about stability, mental stability. And this is what mental stability looks like. Life satisfaction. So you feel satisfied with life. You're able to enjoy life, feel as if, yeah, things are okay. Also, you have to be resilient. So you have to be able to admit or realize that things happen. You just have to take it as a life experience, learn the lessons, and just move on, bounce back. So resilience, sorry, speaks to the fact that you can bounce back and you will bounce back, and all of us can bounce back. Also, what is important, King Casey, is that we need support. And I find personally that our men of today's society they are so closed. But I want to tell our listeners, male listeners in particular, of course females too, but males in more, that
Okay.
we need support. We need to get comfortable. We need to find a support system, somewhere where we can vent, someone we can talk, someone we can trust to explain what we're going through, somebody that will understand and that will not judge us. So, we have to have all of this. Also, flexibility speaks with the fact that we have our expectations. We all have a little expectation, but when things do not work out as we expect them to, how do we deal with it? We have to just accept it. Things happen, life happens.
Okay. So I like how you categorically tell the male figures that they need to talk to somebody. Why? Why? I'd like to know why you actually telling the male in particular why they should talk to people about stuff they're going through.
Personally, for me, King Casey, I have listened news. I'm here in Jamaica. It's happening all over. Men are closed, and I think this is simply because men were created to be leaders and the head of the home, and so they feel as if they have to maintain a certain thing. Masculine. They see it as being masculine, not being able to talk or express the emotions, but emotions are normal. It's okay. But the truth is too, you male are they're expressing their emotions. It's just that they express their emotions differently than us as females, right? And so it
Yeah.
is important that males learn to express themselves healthily by talking to people that they trust. I think that males find it very difficult to talk about what they're going through. I
That's
don't
true.
know if it's,
That's true.
yeah, yeah. I guess you'll, yeah, you guys find it. I'm not sure why that is. You will be better able to explain. So, do you want to jump in on that? Yeah, would like to hear.
Okay. About that, about that. The male figure always feel dominant over almost everything they do. They always feel dominant about it. So they feel if they
Yeah.
talk about most things they go through, it's more like they're letting their guard down. I think so because that's how I feel whenever I talk about most things. I feel I'm
Okay.
letting my guard down, except for a few persons that you think, okay, this person you can trust. Yeah. So it means for me to let my guard down to you, it means I trust you a whole lot to tell you any
Mm-hmm.
stuff that is going through my mind and my head. Yeah. So that's that.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
I think you have something else to say.
No, no, no. I was just saying that I like the fact that you said that you have a few persons, but we do have males who they keep everything all inside,
Yeah, sure, sure.
and that is why we have so many persons committing suicide, killing other persons and committing suicide. And it's really crazy. It's just the fact that they're unable to deal with the disappointments that life brings, and the real truth is there is a healthy way out. We can get help.
Okay. Um,
So I really want males to hear this today.
it's fine. Definitely they will. They will. I'll push it out to all male, like all male figures out there. I'll tell them this particular one you need to listen because Anita Love has spoken so much about the males and they really need to listen to it. So let's forge ahead. Um, I believe we have two types of mental health out there. Okay, please do share with us what these types of mental health are.
Or as I said, that we have types of mental health.
Yeah.
We have positive, like I just mentioned some of the characteristics a while ago, and we have negative. The negative ones are the ones that where we are having an imbalance in terms of how we're dealing with our emotions and how it is that we allow our emotions to cause us to behave. So really and truly, it's all about how we think, how we feel, and how we act, right?
Okay.
And yes, it's all about how we think, we feel, and how we act. And we have mental health problems as a result of this. We have bipolar disorders, we have depression, we have stress, we have eating disorders, sleeping disorders. We have so much, Casey. Like, there's just so much different disorders that we have as a result of unhealthy, mental processes.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Talking about sleeping disorders, if someone hardly sleeps, let's say at night, and rarely sleeps at daytime, would you say this person is having a sleep disorder?
You said that if they sleep at night
If they
and
rarely sleep at night and rarely also sleep during the day, do you say these persons have sleep disorders that can lead to irregular mental health?
all right, the truth is, sleeping is important,
Yeah.
and so I would not just get up and say there is a problem. I would have to know what is happening, because we do have persons work on shifts, and so for some reasons they don't get to close their eyes at nights and they just have busy days. But sleeping is a healthy habit of life, and so if it is that you're unable to sleep well, I'll say that. And sleep well, I would say between 6 to 8 hours, not sleeping excessively or sleeping for like 2 or 3 hours and think that's okay. No, we cannot cope if it is that we're not allowing our bodies to rest properly. And that is what I'll say about that.
Okay. Still on that. I know there's so many persons out there that the highest they can sleep is for 3 or 4 hours. Is that healthy enough?
Personally, as I said before, it all has to do with what is happening in your daily lives.
Okay.
Right? But personally, I do believe that if you're unable to sleep, it depends on what is happening in your head, why you're unable to sleep. Is it that you're trying to sleep and you can't sleep? Or what is it? Because I mean, it happens to me. There are times when I lie down to sleep and I can't sleep. Why? Because there's just so many things happening in my head. My mind is active. And like I said, when we're unable to strike that balance, that's where the problem is.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. If there is a problem, there should be a solution.
Definitely.
Okay. So mental health is a problem, or
Definitely.
negative mental health, let me put it that way, is a
Yeah,
problem.
it's a
So
problem.
definitely there should be a solution to it. Is that correct?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, that's to say, okay, let me put it this way. Let me put it as a question. Is recovery possible?
It is definitely possible,
Okay.
Kinkisi. Viewers listening, it is possible. You have hope. It is possible for you to regain yourself. It is possible for you to function properly, function well, think well. But of course, we have to commit ourselves to the process. It is going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take discipline, but it's definitely possible.
Okay. If it is possible, how long do you think it would take for someone that is so, how like so soaked into um, mental health disorder to get out of it? How long do you think that will be?
In Casey, as I said before, it takes commitment. So as long as the person remains committed, focused, disciplined, it is possible, and it can take, I would not say months, because it depends on how bad the situation is,
Okay.
but it will definitely take a process. I think the most important thing though is being able to admit to oneself that there is a problem. So admitting to yourself that there is a problem, verbalizing that to someone else, someone you trust. We have different mental health rehab centers that where we can get help, we can voice, and we can get help, we can get treatment for it. Not just pills, but we can go through therapy that can help us to take our time, and get by. It's not a rush, it's not a one two. That's what I'll say for sure. It's something that definitely takes time and it takes commitment.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, you're saying for one to get out of any mental health disorder, the person needs to, the person needs to be committed to every process. Is that correct?
Kinkisi, definitely. Success takes commitment. We don't just get things just like that. It doesn't just fall in our hand, in our laps. We have to work for what we want. And so if it is that we want to maintain our mental health, if we want to have that balance, it's something that we have to consciously work on. So definitely, it takes a lot. It takes work.
Okay. Before we go, we're talking about mental health. For those persons that are listening, those persons that are watching also, we're talking about mental health. Love, before you leave, do you have, let's say, a last few sentence you give to those persons that are going through one mental health disorder or the other?
Definitely. Viewers, listeners, we're here for you. Other persons are here for you. There are institutions that are here for you. If it is that you have identified any signs, and it doesn't have to be the ones that I mentioned
Yeah,
today,
sure,
you can
sure.
also research. Yeah, You can research it, because trust me, there is so much more information that we would love to share that we're unable to share now due to the interest of time. But once you realize that you have any of these signs, be honest to yourself. You owe yourself that, and just do the right thing. Get help. It is possible for you to be able to deal with the stress of life positively. It is possible for you to gain social well-being. It's possible for you to live satisfactorily. It is just possible. And I want to tell you that everything is possible through Christ that strengthens us. It is.
Definitely, definitely. Okay,
Definitely.
that particular one are for those persons that are going through one mental health disorder, right?
I'm sorry, you cut out just now. I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said that particular advice is for those persons that are going through one mental health disorder, right?
Yes,
Okay, for
definitely.
those persons that know persons that are going through mental health disorder, what's your advice to them?
Wow. If we know of anyone that is going through anything, any signs, I'm saying love them, help them as best as possible. Let them know that, hey, you're not crazy. Tell them that you're not crazy, but you need help in terms of being able to deal with your problems, the stress of life. And there are treatments out there for you that can help you to function better. To
Sure,
me, it's just loving each other and wanting the best for each other. And it's possible, like I said. So let us work together as a community. So whether you or you know someone who is going through this, reach out, reach out.
okay, okay. With that, I think we'll end this episode for today. This particular episode is has been educative thus far, and I've learned a lot. I don't know for those persons listening or watching. I don't know if you've learned something today. Anita Love is amazing. She is really an educator, definitely. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. So many other persons who want to reach out to you rather, on different social media platforms. What is your social media handle so that they can reach out to you?
All right, definitely you can reach me at on Facebook. It's Anita Love. A as an apple, N as in Nancy, Tom, A as an apple, LOVE as in I love you. And that's the same where you can reach me on Instagram. On YouTube, I have a channel there. You can also talk to me, comment on my videos. It's lovely love. And I'm just everywhere. I'm here for you.
Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for being here for every person that has been listening and watching. Thank you so much. I
Thank you
really
so much for
appreciate
having
it.
me. Thank you for having
Jamaica,
me.
don't worry. One
Bye,
time,
bye.
one time, definitely. I know for certain that I'll come over to Jamaica,
You should definitely visit it here. It's
and I'll be
beautiful.
inviting you over too to Nigeria.
Definitely. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for
Okay.
that. So it was
With
nice having, go
Thank you
ahead.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me.
Thank you so much. I really
Take care.
appreciate it. Thank you. Okay,
No problem.
for those
Thank you.
persons listening, this person listening to me for the first time, I am Kinky C, KINGKIS to the I and another I on all social media platforms, except for Instagram, because for Instagram there's an underscore before KC. So you get KING underscore KIS as the I and another I. Do take care of yourself, boy.
Thank you.
Yeah, ciao, ciao.